Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Janice Our Love, and we are back for another episode of Asking for a Sister Friend. As you can see, I have a guest with me on today because this is a very special episode. You may or may not know, and again, come on in the room. Glad to have you here. You may or may not know that this is Couple Appreciation Month. And so, why not have a conversation with my favorite person, my favorite husband of 22 years? Why not have a conversation about what it takes to have a strong marriage? Now, let me show you what we're talking about today. We're talking about stronger together, navigating marriage through every season.
Mhm.
And not just the season where everything is just great and wonderful,
Right.
but also the seasons where things can be challenging. So, we want to share with you today, again, just some of the things that have helped us to navigate life. We're going to cover everything from being a ministerial couple to being a blended family to it being our second marriages. Whole lots of things that we're going to cover, how we navigate our busy schedules, and
Mhm.
then even how we navigate that stuff that makes you have those difficult conversations. We're going to
Really?
talk a
Oh,
little
wow.
bit about that. So, most of you have met my husband, Dr. Bobby L. Love Sr.
Mhm.
And again, we've been married for 22 years. He has been pastoring for going on 36
Yeah.
years.
Long time.
We live in Olathe, Kansas, and he is the pastor of the Second Baptist Church of Olathe. So if you're
That's
in the
great.
area, stop by and visit
Glad
us.
to
I'll
have
put a
you.
plug in there for
Yeah.
you. So let's go ahead and get started, dear. You ready?
I think I am.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Let's tell people how we met. Now, I've already told people in my book the long version of how we met. But I kind of want to hear it from you. How did we meet and how did we even get to this place where we
Mm,
are now?
mm. You want the short version
Short,
or
please, not the
okay?
preacher version.
Okay. Um, Basically, what we did was met by a mutual friend,
Mhm.
and this happened after a church event. We were having a district session. I get invited to come over for Chinese food
And
by this mutual friend, not knowing that you were going to be there as well. So you were invited to the same
yes, we
dinner.
were we were together. We had
Right.
gone to get Chinese food. Just noticed your car in the parking
Right.
lot. She asked you, "Hey, Pastor, you
Would you
hungry?"
come on over? Yeah.
And I was like,
Like,
"No,
what are you doing?
do not invite that man anywhere because
Yeah.
we just friends here trying to have a
Yeah.
nice
Yeah.
little late dinner."
Yeah.
But anyway, go finish.
So she invited me over. So when I get over, the awkward moment in that was the fact that as we were sitting around eating, when it came time to open up the fortune cookies, and of course, everybody reads their fortune
Look
cookie,
at the picture.
and
Hmm.
I didn't want to read mine. So what happened?
Okay, so
She made me. She
right,
made me read mine. No,
oh,
actually, she took it from me
right.
and she read it herself.
I
That's
read my fortune
yeah,
cookie and it said I'm gonna be rich and famous.
yeah,
Look, it's come true already, right?
right, right.
And then she read hers, and he would not
I
read
would not
his.
read mine.
And
I would not read mine because I couldn't believe what it said. I was kind of blushing, and it was an awkward moment for me.
yeah. So anyway, she takes the fortune
Yeah,
cookie from him, and it says
it says what you're looking for is sitting right in front of you.
is right in front of you.
Yeah,
And I happened to be sitting right in
yeah.
front of him, which freaked me out. So I grabbed my plate and I'm headed towards the kitchen because we're not trying to have this
Oh gosh,
conversation
that was an
when
awkward
I'm
moment.
just trying to sit here and enjoy dinner.
Yeah,
So
that was an
anyway,
awkward moment.
he was brave enough at that point
Yeah,
to ask me for if he could call me,
yeah.
and it happened, and the rest is history.
Yes, right.
I'm glad you got the nerve
I'm glad that I had a good fortune cookie.
and the thing is, we've never seen that cookie again.
Never.
Never in all these years. But
Yeah,
again, I just see it as a miracle from
yeah.
heaven that
I
that
do
fortune
too.
cookie ended up
I
there.
do too.
So as we begin to date, we did have some awkward
Yeah.
moments because many of you know I was previously married to a pastor. I had joined this church and actually had seen and experienced him going through a very difficult time in
Hmm.
his life. And Rich, really, I almost changed churches because having to watch possibly what our church had gone through when I divorced originally, coming into this space, it was awkward,
Yeah, very complicated.
very awkward
Yeah,
because n- now you're having to, once we decide to get married, then you're having to introduce a new first lady.
yeah.
And
I remember one of the hardest for me, and of course, this is all hindsight now, but one of the most awkward things that I recall is when we were dating, and I took you to the first official district function, and it was at that time. I think we were in Chanute, Kansas. Matter of
mhm,
fact, and I took that opportunity to introduce you to everyone from that perspective, and that was very awkward for me. Being a
awkward for you.
yeah, being a long term
It was,
pastor and just the whole complicatedness of that.
yeah, and it was awkward for me
Yeah,
too because suddenly people who used to be nice to me suddenly weren't being
yeah,
nice to me. And
yeah,
even the day that you announced in
yeah.
church that we were getting married,
Right.
there were some people who didn't talk to me after that. Some
Yeah,
people who said, "Ooh, girl, you a tough sister,"
yeah,
but and then there were some that supported.
yeah,
So we had some very awkward moments
yeah.
because
It was very challenging.
it seemed like that we were starting to build our bond, but it was like you and I against the world
Yeah,
almost. So that was challenging. But again, you get stronger by being together.
right.
All right. So let's get past all that stuff
Oh yeah,
and
that's
then
it's not as painful to talk about it now
right.
as it was going through it, and then it took me quite a bit of time to even get to the point where I could really discuss it. So many emotions,
Mhm.
and if you've ever experienced that type of a deal, it really is a challenge. So we weathered the storm, and here we are, and I'm very, very grateful.
What's one of the biggest lessons? Well, let's keep going past that.
Okay.
So, what has kept us strong over the years? What would you say has kept us strong over the years?
Well, I think the opportunity that we've had to really be open and honest with one another and to really forge a bond between you and I. And that's been very, very helpful.
Mhm.
And a lot of laughter.
A lot of laughing. A whole
Every day is a new day, and we have fun. A saying of mine is that we have big fun.
yes, yes. A laughter has kept us together because there were some tough
Yeah,
times, but now we can look back and laugh
right.
about them, and we'll talk a little bit about some of those
Hmm.
things as well.
Yeah.
But of course, faith has played a role
Faith,
in
prayer,
making
exactly.
sure that we were bonded
Right,
again, because even when we felt like the world was against us, we were together, and
right.
we really feel like God blessed our union.
Yeah,
And from start to where we
to
are
where we are
now,
right now.
God has consistently
Right.
blessed us and used our experiences really to help other people.
That was a challenge to
Hmm.
get to that point,
Hmm.
especially when you live a public life.
Right.
To get to that point where you want to be transparent
Hmm.
and authentic,
Hmm.
and to get to the point where the pain and suffering that you're going through can actually help somebody else.
Right. Look at me. You can see
Mhm.
me up there, can't you?
I was trying to be
I know.
intimate
I
with you
know
right
you
here.
were. But I want to make sure they hear you
Okay.
and see you.
All right.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about. Okay, we talked about how it all began.
Yeah.
So let's shift into another topic here
All right.
and talk about how our marriage has grown stronger through our seasons.
Hmm.
Now, we juggle marriage,
Hmm.
we juggle ministry,
Hmm.
and we even juggle our personal dreams that
Right.
we have, right,
Hmm.
in life. So, can we talk about a little bit about what we've done to keep us from looking like we're two ships passing in the night? Because we're busy.
Yeah. I think what that is to be intentional of spending time together. Of course, we have a date night that is carved out, and we guard that. And also, during the time of a busy schedule, we try to carve out time where we can speak with one another and download, and more expressly, the moments that we have when we're winding down for the evening and cuddling and being able to unload and download the day. That's very special.
Right. And one of the things that we did, especially when I was working and had to drive 30 miles across into another state
Yeah.
every day,
Right.
we were intentional about we had prayer before I left the house
every morning.
and we also talked on our drive time.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave us a time to download our schedules
Right.
or what we had going on and to determine whether or not we had to do something different.
Right.
A lot of times what we're going to have for dinner.
Right.
And again, bringing up any situations that were going to disrupt our day or to take it off the schedule that we were on because we knew some things that we had to do, whether it was church related activities, but we were very intentional because I used to call you on the way home too, didn't
right.
I? Right. Okay.
We had a morning call, that what we call drive time, and then in the evening we had the drive time when she would be commuting, and those were special moments.
Right, right. And even as we came together, we both had some personal goals as well as some professional goals. I wanted to get to a point where I could retire early, and thank God that happened. And I also wanted to do things like write books. I wanted to have my own ministry.
Right.
I wanted to do things that would help me to be able to do what I was created to do. So sometimes, I had to take that time to write.
Right.
And I had to navigate kids' schedules, all this kinds of stuff. And it was hard sometimes because I felt like I didn't get a whole lot of sleep. I was burning the candle at both ends. And even you felt the same way too, because I know at one point you were picking up kids from school.
Yeah.
And so we just prioritized our relationship. That's important, especially again when you first get married, and if you are a second marriage, you have to prioritize your relationship because again, you have extended things that weren't part of your life before you got together. So you really have to prioritize. Sometimes you got to take those vacations. I mean, we're very deliberate about taking our vacations 3-4 times a year and not doing it with our children. But there are times when we would actually do separate vacations with our children to make sure we got that time with them as well. But now they're grown, so we don't have to worry about that.
Right. I would probably add in that too, especially if you're a blended family, from the perspective of building those bonds. I think that's very important, what you just shared about giving the space for me to have some time with my children and you with your children.
Right.
That's very, very crucial.
I actually segued into the next topic, which is about blended family. So we had some unique challenges. I don't know how many of you are in blended families, but when we first got married, we thought, oh, everything's gonna be fine. Our kids get along. I was his children's Sunday school teacher. So everybody was gonna love me because I was gonna be the best stepmom in the world. And then of course you were gonna be the best dad, the best stepdad in the world. And I mean, we woke
life
up.
happened.
Right. We woke up the first night, literally, that we had all of our children together. We saw the very first signs of conflict.
Yeah.
Just something as simple as having a light on in the bedroom. So I was from the cool, dark world where I had always had a cool room. I also had a dark room so that I could sleep. And my kids were pretty adjusted to that as well. But what was Braxton's first statement?
He says, it's very dark in here. Because my kids, I had the most kids and they were used to having noise all the time and lights and so forth. And, it just shows the difference between households coming up. And that was a very challenging
Well, it was for
situation.
You from a thermostat perspective because I shut that
She's
bad
cold.
down.
No, she's hot and I was cold. So you're merging different nuances.
Yes.
And it takes time to get acclimated to that from the kids' perspective and even from your perspective.
Yeah, and I'm not going to give a full lesson
Right.
on blended
They
families
got to
and
read your book.
recoupling and that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Because feel free to read my book, which
Yeah.
is 1 + 1 =
Equals 10.
10. Because again, we are a blended family of 8 children. So one, me, him,
Yeah.
plus 8 children,
Yeah.
that
My
equals
6,
10.
her 2 equals 10.
That's right, equals 10. All of us together.
Yeah.
So check out that book. 1 + 1 = 10. It's available on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a First Lady's Survival Guide for Step Moms.
Yeah.
All right, so check
Very
that out.
good. It's good for men too.
Yeah, it
Right.
is. Even though it's pink, it's pretty, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you have for couples who are um, parenting grown children? Because we moved from that stage where we were doing visitation and those kinds of things. And one piece of advice I would add is that always start your own new traditions, because you got two families trying to come
Mm-hmm.
together and they have different kinds of traditions, whether it's holidays or
Right.
whatever. Start your own traditions in your family to make that work. Then that
Mm-hmm.
way, if everybody has a piece in putting together this
Mm-hmm.
new tradition versus trying to continue with the old
Right.
tradition. All right, so what advice would you have for a couple parenting grown children? Because all of our children are grown.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Whoop,
Yeah.
whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. I think for me, and this is hard, but what I would say is the thing that you would do is understand that the children are grown and let them be adults. They're going to make mistakes, but let them be adults and view them in that perspective, not as little children.
Yeah, because I mean,
That's big.
a lot of times we still call them kids.
Yeah, they're full grown adults.
Yeah.
And they're doing adult things. And
right.
So you have to be ready for that
right.
one.
So when we hear about these, who they're dating, or whatever they're doing, or
oh buddy,
or look at some of these Facebook posts or whatever, we have to recognize that they are adults and leave them alone. But again, the key thing is that they also recognize what a strong relationship looks like. And we, that's our dream for them, is to have those relationships so they can have as much fun as we're having. Again, when we want them to not have to navigate it, have to be in a second marriage to have that. We want them to do it right the first time. So I guess we can stay out of that. Anyway, guess what we're going to do? We're getting ready to run a station break, and we will be right back. And when we get back, we're going to talk about humor as a survival tool. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of things to talk about there. All right, here we go.
Are you helping others to achieve their goals? An aspiring author? Or you're already an author? Do you have a wealth of knowledge stuck in your head and you're ready to teach what you know? Whether you're creating an ebook, an online course, or other learning materials, you're probably thinking to yourself, where do I start? So, are you ready to turn your knowledge into impact and monetize your content? With a course-building technology learning management system for experts, you can have stress-free tech. Hi there. I'm Dr. Janice R. Love, the founder and the CEO of Pearls Perfected Institute, where we help you to turn your knowledge into impact. And we guide you every step of the way, and that's worth celebrating. Visit us at pearlsperfectedinstitute.com. Again, pearlsperfectedinstitute.com.
All right, we are back. Thank you. So we are here talking about how to have basically a strong marriage through every season. We are talking about being stronger together, navigating marriage through every season. And I am here joined by my husband, the Reverend Dr. Bobby L. Love. And again, we are just having a conversation about what it takes to have a thriving marriage. And we're going to be transparent here as we move into this next section about how we often use humor as a survival tool. Now, we have experienced many challenges, many what we could call disagreements in our life. Now we can look back and laugh about them, but when we were in the mix of it, it wasn't so pretty after all. So hubby is going to tell about one of the what I would call one of the pettiest arguments
Yeah.
that we ever had.
So this is petty to her. It wasn't to me. So I prided myself in knowing what her sizes were, from her shoes to everything else. And I went on a shopping spree. I bought her some bad suits.
Look,
You understand?
you making it sound.
Yeah. And it was.
Okay.
And I was feeling good as a husband, because I was attentive to the size and style and everything. And even though her shoe size and everything. So I go buy all this stuff and bring them back and present them to her. And I'm thinking, oh boy, I'm gonna get some brownie points here. And wonk, wonk.
I did not see it that way. A couple of reasons why. First of all, I knew where he had shopped for them, and they were suits. They were basically suits. And part of it was because he wanted me to match him, number one, because
listen to this.
if he wear blue on Sunday, then he wants me to wear blue on Sunday too, right?
You gonna put that off on me?
Yes.
Listen,
You already know.
wardrobe consultant.
You
Okay,
already know.
go ahead.
Okay. Right,
Okay.
like right now, you went and put on blue because I got
See there, I knew that was coming.
humor as a survival tool. Okay. So
She
first of all,
made me put this on.
so humor as a survival tool. Y'all help me out there, okay? Leave me some comments, right? All right. So first thing I noticed was he paid full price. Now
It don't matter.
he paid full price. So if I'm gonna go and spend $500 on suits, and I can't even remember, it was probably
It was a
somewhere
good
in that
little penny,
range.
yeah.
Okay.
It was a good
Then
penny.
I'm going to come home with 10 suits. I'm going to have at least 10 outfits because I know how to shop in a way that will make it, make it work. I'll make my money go further. So that was the first thing, right? And this was early in our marriage, and
Yeah.
we just really didn't have that kind of money just to be blowing on clothes. Plus, I had clothes, but he wanted to make sure I had.
That's right.
The first lady kind of suits, right?
Exactly.
All right. So that's another thing. All right. But at the same time, I was like, I picked my own clothes out.
Mm-hmm.
And you want me to be all happy that you went and spend money that we didn't need to spend, and you picked it out for me. I didn't even try it on. So now I might have to go get adjusted. You don't know how I'm going to look in that. So
they fit.
Whatever. That one of them was a little too big. And I had to go get it altered and all this kind
But
of
it
stuff.
looked good on you. It
did. Okay.
Yeah.
But again,
Yeah.
So when I opened my big mouth and talked about,
Yep.
Then I hurt your feelings.
Hey, but I will say this. After all of that, I did appreciate the fact that you had the ability with your system to do that, and that took a lot of pressure. But yeah, I was wounded. I was wounded.
Tell me what you did.
So I took them back. I took them back.
No, but what else did you do?
I ain't gonna tell you.
Wrote me a letter about how I hurt your feelings and how
I sure did.
It was an act of love.
That's right.
And I was like, all this over some suits?
That's right. I was being the attentive husband.
You were
spending money that I worked my fingers down to the bone.
Yes. And again,
and it was like
now we can laugh about that.
She's very frugal, because what she's trying to say is that she's got a nice little boutique place where she goes and gets it from the thrift store.
No. I don't get it from a thrift store. I have
and
some upscale resale shops. But again, the store you went to, I would have gotten the ones that were on sale. And I would have bought those things at a time when they were on sale. I would never.
Here's the big story.
Ever pay full price for anything. Don't even start.
Here's the big story. We're not going to burn the house down. But as you can see, that was a very contentious time, because she don't know that I did get the hookup.
You didn't say that back then, but then it don't matter.
It don't matter.
It doesn't matter, because you took them back.
I sure did.
I bet I'll never buy you again. Okay. So the other thing we already talked about that sometimes it's tough is, again,
I did the Steve Harvey.
laughter as a survival tool. Again, we can laugh about stuff because we've gone through
I love you, baby.
stages about how you load the dishwasher, how you put up the dishes,
Yeah.
how the toilet paper is.
Up
Why
or
come you didn't
down.
do this? Why you didn't listen to me? We go through all those things
Exactly.
too. But again, when we can laugh about them and something that happens that it might get on each other's nerves sometimes.
Yeah.
But let's say if I said something like, we need to go walking because it's a lovely day. What would you say?
A lovely day.
Lovely day. Lovely day. We sometimes we end sentences with a song, or somebody says something, we'll repeat it. So
Are you
right
really
now,
gonna do it?
right, yeah. Right now we've been doing a whole lot of the Kendrick Lamar stuff.
Man
right?
down.
Call an ambulance. Anyway,
Breathe.
we laugh. Okay. So if you cannot have fun in your relationship, in your marriage,
Right.
then you are in trouble.
Yeah.
Because who wants to sit around mad all the time? We laugh. It's healthy to laugh.
Every day.
It's healthy to laugh. So
Yeah.
make sure you're doing that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next area.
Okay,
All
let's
right.
do it.
So let's talk about what's next for us. I retired 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What's next for us? What are some of our dreams for our future?
Well, I think part of it is at some point I'm going to be retiring as well, and we're going to continue our travel schedule, and we're going to watch our children being part of their families and grow their families, and we're just going to have a good time walking in the sunset, the season of our sunset.
But
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And
but you seem like you want to be around with the grandkids out there.
See,
is that what you want to do? Be with the grandkids?
No, they want to be with cool Mama J.
So we do have this issue.
Papa me.
No, you are Grandpapa. Because we trying to have these young these young grandparent names, right?
Yeah.
So I'm Mama J, and I always told my kids that I was gonna make them call me Cool Mama J. And now they like Mama, whatever. Anyway, this is Grandpapa here.
Gangster Pop.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, I see especially as we have navigated getting to where we are today.
Yeah.
I just pray and hope that we can just ride off in the sunset, enjoying our children being adults and parents and navigating their life, doing great and wonderful things, supporting them. I want to continue to give back. I want to definitely make our mark in this world to where it makes a difference to other people. Yeah. And so whether you're doing that in the church or some of the consulting things that you do, definitely we want to keep making our mark.
Yeah, that's important. Legacy is important for me.
Right. Yeah. And so when we too tired to do some of these things, then we can pull a book off the shelf.
I don't know about you, but I'm learning how to set myself down.
Yes. And stay in shape. I mean, that I want us to go into our 70s and things where we're still healthy enough to enjoy some things. And so that's why I'm on you about, making sure we work out and we eat right and that kind of thing. So stay healthy is one of the main things that I want to do.
And that's a gift to both of you when we honor that. Stay in good shape as best you can.
And then finally, let's share again our just from our wisdom perspective. What's something that we appreciate about the other?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I appreciate your love for me. I appreciate the support that you give to me. And I can honestly say that I feel like you got my back. I feel like you adore me. And yeah.
My eyes adore you.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
They do. And the main thing is the knowing that you have my back.
Okay.
And you may not know this, and I'll say this too. One of the when we were having some of the most difficult times, one of the things that I really, really appreciated was we had a heart-to-heart, and you told me, "Don't worry about me. You do you. I can handle me." And that was so liberating for me to know that I didn't have to try to be everything and try to be, protect you, that you could stand on your own platform. And man, I've been soaring ever since.
All right. And I
Look at me
appreciate
fly.
that.
Whoop, whoop.
I appreciate that
Yeah.
because I I have some control issues.
Yeah.
And if I felt like you were trying to control me, which you have never done,
Right.
that's one of the definitely things I
Yeah.
appreciate about you. And you let me be me.
Yeah.
You don't, I know how to go to the event. I know how to act right in church for the most part. All those things, and you trust me to
Yeah.
do that. You trust me to be me,
Right.
and knowing that I'm at my best when I'm being me.
Yes.
And then again, you put up with my quirky stuff too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'll be doing some stuff that are aggravating, like asking for these routines before I go to bed. I want him to put lotion on my feet. I want him to tuck me in, because if he's still doing some work, I want him to tuck me in. I want him
Close the
to give me
door,
some water.
baby.
I have this list of things, and I am quirky in so many ways, but you tolerate me.
Because I love you.
You tolerate me.
Yeah.
You don't leave the house to me.
Mhm.
You cook.
Yes,
You
I enjoy cooking.
you
Yeah.
you will
Yeah,
clean.
yeah.
You take
I
care.
take care of you
our
because you
home,
my
and
queen,
you
baby.
take care of me.
Yeah, you my queen.
And you feed me.
That's right.
And you know when
I
I
got
need some
this.
attention.
Yeah,
And I just appreciate
that's
you
right.
for being you. I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't have you any other way.
Yep.
And that's what I just so appreciate.
I know that.
You're gonna be smiling, babe.
I sure am. See how big my head got?
Yeah, what's for dinner?
Yeah.
All right.
You-
So
do you really want to know?
yes, I really want to know. All right. Anyway.
Are you gonna really do it? Are you really gonna do it?
Stop. All right. Straighten up.
Okay. I'm gonna be good.
So we have been here.
Yeah.
Talking about, what have we been talking about here? We have been talking about how we are stronger together.
Yeah.
Again, I can't imagine my life right now without you.
Likewise.
And what's the scripture about? Three cord
Out of-
strand could
yeah.
not easily be broken.
Exactly. And the other one is out of Amos, where how can two walk together except they agree?
Right.
And those are some very important scriptures.
Yeah. Yes.
And it shows that togetherness, and it shows the bond.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And we're doing it. So
Yeah.
we're at year number 22,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to many, many more. Yeah. And we have navigated through a lot of seasons.
Yes.
So I guess our next season is going to be when we're both retired.
Yeah.
And we are, just really enjoying one another.
Yeah.
And we've got some similar to that now,
Yeah.
being at home
Yeah.
with one another. The pandemic actually
Yeah.
helped out, where we were home together and we could do our own things. And the other thing I want to touch on before we get out of here is the fact that we respect each other's time.
Mhm.
And we respect each other's obligations of what the other has to do. So if I have to go on a trip or something with to check on one of my children or something like that,
Mhm.
or if we have things that are conflicting time wise, we respect what the other has to do.
Right. I would add to that
Okay.
also, if I may. One of the important things that I think you need to do as a couple to forge the strength is to have a numbering system, and that right there helped us tremendously. And a lot of the events that I'm involved in may not require her to be there. And one of the worst things that you can do is try to make every event when it's not necessary. So we have a numbering system. So when I really, really need her with me, that scores a 10. And if I say we've got an event and it's number 10, there is no questions asked. She's going to be there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But we've come a long way with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we read that in the devotional that we were doing at the time. But we've come a long way because I used to not want people to think I was not supporting him. And I was going to run myself ragged trying to be at every single event. This man had all kinds of events going on.
Yeah.
And, Sunday's one thing, but when you got stuff all during the week and you got to make me dress up and go to something, and I want to be home in my jeans and sweats or something. but we've learned to navigate that,
Yeah.
and so we don't get bent out of shape when
No.
the other one can, and we verbalize when we really need the other person there.
Right.
So that hopefully that's helpful to you. That numbering system has gotten us
Yeah.
through a lot of
Difficult
times.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we were
Difficult
going
times.
to when we were going to run ourselves ragged, because sometimes we had to split because my kid was doing
right.
something, his kid was doing
Right.
something, so we couldn't both be in both places at the same time.
Right.
So we just had to do what was best for our family.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that worked out good.
All right. All
Mhm.
right. So again, we've been talking here about how to have that strong marriage. This is couple month, and I just thought we'd come out and have a conversation.
Mhm.
Remember, marriage isn't always easy. It is not always easy,
Mhm.
but when you commit to being stronger together, then you can weather any season that comes your way. And I think that's my final thought. What's your final thought?
My final thought is the same. Love one another, pray for one another, and lighten up, have fun. You've got to have fun in your marriage, and the Lord will see you through.
Yes, yes. All right, you've heard it right here. There's Dr. Bobby Love, and here's Dr. Janice R. Love.
Absolutely.
And I am the founder of Pearls Perfected Institute. So if you don't know anything about that, please visit my website at pearlsperfectedinstitute.com. And again, also visit my YouTube channel. If you're watching on Facebook, follow me at Pearls Perfected with Dr. Janice R. Love. If you're watching me on LinkedIn, also follow me there and subscribe to my newsletter as well.
Mhm.
But again, thank you so much for being here for another episode of Asking for a Sister Friend. Darling, thank you so much.
Thank you for
being my
inviting me to
guest.
be on your show. Did I do all right? I didn't.
You did all
Okay.
right. I'm
I'm trying to
impressed with you
behave
this time.
myself.
I'm impressed with you this time. So everyone, again, feel free to leave your comments and your questions. And I know we had a whole lot of hearts and laughs going on through this entire conversation. But thank you for being a part of this show on today. And we will see you next time. Until then, be blessed. Say bye, dear.
Bye-bye.